What? I got something on my face.
I don't know, Have you been sneaking out?
Huh?
Have you been nicking off for a facial or something?
What are you talking about?
You kind of look less grainy than you normally do.
What? Now I think about it.
What?
You look practically photorealistic.
What? Don't be stupid. Really? Really?
You're crisp, clear, defined.
Oh. Okay. Can I borrow the number for that place where you go for the facial then?
What's it worth?
Ow! I won't give you cramp.
All right.
Will that do? That'll do, won't it?
Maybe movie.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Maybe Movies, episode whatever number it is, but part 3 of our straight up mashup experiment. And if you've never been here before, this is Maybe Movies, where we are the last bastion of original content on the platform.
It would seem so sometimes.
Which is probably why we're in the bargain bin. Thank you for joining us again. If you have been with us since the beginning of the month, then you'll know that this time, rather than doing our normal thing, we are attempting to invent a completely new movie using the sum total of the parts of Slither,
and Evolution.
We looked at Act 1 last time, which was fraught with reminding ourselves that we're not making a foil of the old movies and that we are masters of our own destiny, as it were.
Something like that.
Before we do, a very, very quick shout out. This is for one of the channels I think I mentioned before. I must admit, I haven't been around for a little bit, but I will as soon as I can, for Pretty Pessimistic.
Okay.
Who does lots of some like true crime stuff, some of it's like cryptid stuff and other wonderful things like that.
The weird and wonderful backwaters of the human world.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So as always, there'll be a link in the description below and probably up here somewhere or something. But yeah, please do go and check it out. Because we've asked you to.
Do it. Go on, do it. I have not made as extensive notes as I should have done.
No, I've got stuff. You know what we forgot to mention last time, don't you?
What was that?
The James Gunn cameo.
At the schoolyard.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I did want to very quickly, if you don't mind,
a
couple of things I wanted to just very quickly drop back into from last act. No, don't want to spend a lot of time on it, just doing our due diligence to say that we've acknowledged those things have happened.
Right.
We didn't really say anything about Ira and Harry meeting Wayne when they first go out there, because he's there with the cops and everything, isn't he? Before he goes off to his fire thing.
Right, sorry, I took it as given because we had that scene, because that's also where we have Bill becoming a part of that story.
Yeah, it's just that we didn't mention it. I just want to say to the audience know that we haven't forgotten.
Yeah, I admit it. I took it for granted, folks. Sorry.
The other one that we didn't mention was I think we lost the school trip, didn't we? The second trip out when they actually get the flatworms. We forgot about that completely. Because the next time we had them going out was when after the military have turned up.
I think we skipped that in our eagerness.
Yes, we did, yeah. The other thing I was going to suggest as well, and this is kind of leading more into this act, because I take it we don't have the country club. So do we say that Wayne is working at...
Why do we not have the country club?
Well, I was going to say, do we want to have Wayne working at High Lotters instead? As his other job? Just trying to mash things a bit more together. But also because I thought maybe there might still be a place for having a dance of a sort in this act.
Right. Okay. What is High Lotters in Slither?
That's the where they have the dance for the deer cheer.
Oh, it's
dance.
the barn, the dance hall.
Yeah, it's
right.
High Lotters Saddle Lodge.
Right. Oh, okay. Right.
Because then we can just ditch the country club, and have anything that happens is related around there.
It gives us the dance, but it would also lose a bunch of stuff, because that's like a lot of how Wayne interacts. It's how he catches the beastie that comes out of the ninth hole. That's not going to happen at Hindlotters.
We could still move those events and center them around Hindlotters instead, because it would also be nice to remind the audience that this is primarily a hunting community, which may come into play later in the film when their area starts being overrun by gribbly aliens trying to adapt to our environment. You've got a town full of hunters.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay. Also, why can't you have a dance at a country club?
So Hindlotters is the country club. Split the difference.
Because in fact, the night when old mean rich guy gets attacked and by the beastie in the ninth hole or whatever, the water course.
Barry, his name is the character.
Thank you, I never can remember his name. They're actually having a dance that night.
Yeah. Because I thought maybe what we could do, because I know we said that the deer cheer thing itself has been cancelled because of the military's arrival.
Yeah.
Before we get to the hearing.
Yeah.
This would be our opportunity at the start of Act 2 to catch up on all the stuff that we didn't include from Act 1 of Slither.
To give time for things to fester. Yes, because we focused really hard on the evolution side of things.
Exactly, so we can do the other side now. But I also thought maybe then, if they can't do the deer cheer dance, what they're going to do instead is like a fuck the man dance. So everything's set up. Oh, well, we're a redneck community. Fuck you. We're still going to have our dance.
Good old redneck community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That would then allow us to drop that stuff in. I mean, we can still have Barry. And again, I wish that I checked the actor's name because I know him better from 24 as Charles Logan, which he was a fucking amazing character.
Yes. He's one of those guys. He's been in a lot of things, and I never have learned his name.
Yeah, he's always a little bit. He's normally kind of like an arsehole, or he's in bit parts.
Yes.
So getting to see him play a really meaty role.
Yeah.
Over multiple seasons, and it was fantastic.
That was something. Yeah, special. Yeah, you got to build it up a bit.
So we ended last act with Grant has been infected.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much where we left it. They'd been raided. Grant's been infected. So
we could still run that through with the stuff with the next day, with him and Starla. There's, her saying sorry for not sleeping with him the night before. So you get all of that stuff. You get the meat. And all of those bits those would all still play out the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So the next kind of big scene, unless there's anything else we want to do, would be the fuck the man dance, because that's where he would go and track down Sarah Silverman to turn her into the womb, if that's what we're going to go with.
All right. Yeah. Yes.
Oh no, is it Darla, isn't it, in the in Slither, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's Darla. I think it's Brenda.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It is Brenda.
Yeah, it is Brenda.
Yeah.
That would have been weird. That meant you would have had Starla and Darla.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That would be quite a nice scene then, because obviously Bill would be expecting to go to the dance with Sarah Silverman, but she's late.
That then gives the excuse for the scene that happens in the original movie with him talking to Starla about...
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Are we saying that Ira and Harry are there as well, or are they too busy with their own stuff?
I don't know. I've got this weird feeling that maybe Harry would be up for the dance.
Because Carly's there as well, isn't she?
She's got a really wacky sense of humour, and I just, and all the pretty girls from the volleyball team will be there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I'm saying, yeah, and I'm imagining he's going to drag Ira along grumblingly.
Yes.
We don't have to make them the centre of the scene, but they'll be there in the background arguing about something.
Mm-hmm. So do we want to have then on this same night that this is obviously happening elsewhere with Grant, that we have our guy Barry get pulled into the woods by something?
Oh, yes.
So if we're going to do that, then I think we have to find an excuse for Harry and Ira to leave.
Yes.
Because they won't know anything about it until after the hearing. That may be it. They leave early because they've got the hearing the next day.
Bingo.
Because we never actually see Wayne go out and find the thing. We just know it's happened when he turns up the next day.
Yeah, it cuts to the next day, doesn't it?
Fantastic. I did have to make a note of this as well during the hearing. Something that Ira says.
What was that?
With any new vaccine, there are certain to be side effects.
There are to be certain side effects.
Really? You don't say. I did also love as well, they've taken everything, the JPEG files.
Yeah. It was the 90s. No, not the 90s. The early 2000s.
Still technically, yeah. Oh, yes, I did have a general question.
A general question?
Yes.
Okay.
Not a question about the general, just a general question about the movie.
Okay, right. I was wondering if I should salute.
No, not quite. Not yet. Are we saying that... Is there history here? Are they somehow the enemies of the creature from Slither? Or is it pure coincidence?
I always figured it was pure coincidence.
Fantastic. That's all I wanted to know. But
that was my assumption. That was,
I hadn't made up any mind anyway. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
No, I mean, it was like when I said the other one, there was a version where it's them versus each other, in which case that would be a storyline that I would have recommended. But because we're having it with more with the people in the middle being caught between things rather than going directly against each other necessarily. I mean, they probably will. I hope they will at some point. Otherwise, we've failed somehow. But I don't think they need to be explicitly tied together.
What about then the reason? We don't need to. Just say no, obviously, if you don't think so. What about the reason that it's piggybacked with the aliens from Evolution is for some reason it cannot assimilate them?
They evolve too fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that works. So it can't evolve, you can't do anything with them, but it can hitch a ride with them. And then it's a question of who's going to take over first. So that gives us our competition.
Yeah, that's our AVP premise.
Fantastic. Yeah, that works. I'd say that's one each.
All right.
I don't care. We solved a thing.
Yeah, I think we did.
So we get our court case. It's all going to go the same. We will then cut that in with Bill and the others investigating what's happened to Brenda, or happened to Denise, isn't it?
Yes, she was in Evolution, yes.
Oh, and the cop's name is Sam.
Ha!
But we've lost him.
No
anyway.
relation. Right, so, hearing.
So the hearing will go the same as far as we know.
Yeah, it kind of has to. I don't think there's anything about this scenario that would give them any kind of advantage in court, so it kind of has to play out the way it does in the original. And then they come back.
And Wayne is there with Gribbly Monster.
With Gribbly Monster, excitement. That's when they start getting random animal attacks around town. And this is interesting because there'll be animals going missing on both sides of town at this point.
Yes.
Because Grant is starting to feed.
Exactly.
Meat! Yes. Remember there's that bit when Starla looks over and there's like a board full of missing animals?
Yes.
Posters. And that's only like a day and a half later. It really is a short period of time. So all these animal attacks on one side of town, all the animals going missing on the other side of town.
Exactly. And yet, and strange thing, there's somebody saying that they've seen strange creatures out there. And Bill being run blue ass all over the place.
Well, this is it. Do we want to have Bill in this scene when the boys turn up to the dog attack? Or do we want to have one of the other deputies be there?
I think he'd be more concerned with it, because obviously, again, still at this point, he's still technically with Sarah Silverman. Obviously, I think he would be off investigating that. I mean, as in, he was still in a relationship with her when she went missing. So right. I think he would prioritise that. I know they would normally say there's a conflict of interest there.
Oh, of course, it's the night of the dance, so the thing has happened.
Yes.
Sorry, I see, I was letting things slip my mind. Of course, I understand what you're saying.
So she's gone missing. So
she's gone missing. So that's why he's not going to be there. So it'll be one of the other deputies, which is great because it would be embarrassing to have Bill outwitted by Ira and Harry so easily.
Yeah.
It would diminish Bill's nature.
Yes, exactly.
As the one smart cop in town, basically.
I mean, I think we may get to a point with this, depending on how quickly it escalates, where he has to kind of call in help. You might have to call in the state troopers, because there's a lot going on and he hasn't got the manpower to do all of it. The other option to say is, because we allow the town to be a bit bigger, do we just want to throw in
a few more
the officers from Evolution as part of his team?
Yes, I was wondering if we could do that at one point, but it doesn't hurt to do it.
We may as well. So we can still have Officer Sam.
We can have Officer Sam, which is good. That's great. We can have him be that foil.
Yes.
Whatever, the fall guy for them.
And that's where so it's going to be a little bit different because you haven't got the same geography as you've got obviously in Arizona, so you don't have that drop away with all of the birds down the other side. Well, I suppose they could be.
I was going to say, I mean, I lived close to the coast, and there were hills with little
so they could
fall-offs and stuff like that. I remember cycling up some of them when I was a kid because I used to go up there because they were building in that part of town, and if you looked in the dirt, there were loads of fossils being dug up by all the construction equipment. Wow. And I was bringing home fossils all the time as a kid.
Fantastic.
That's when I decided at the age of 6 that I was going to be an archaeologist because that so I found dinosaur stuff.
And just because you wanted to say this belongs in a museum.
Yeah. Well, no, that was before Indiana Jones. But yes, that was the thing. I got all excited about it and decided I was going to be an archaeologist.
So we can. It will just be a little bit greener than it would be in Arizona.
Yeah, they're just more
basically.
trees. Just more trees.
So we can still have that with the birds and things.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go straight into that scene, obviously with them chasing the bird. Are we going to keep it as just the three of them? I suppose we have to, because Bill's off doing other stuff.
Bill's off doing other stuff, and by the time he got the call,
Yeah.
it would all be over.
Yeah, exactly.
So we could have him turning up at the end of the scene. If just to keep things all nicely connected, it'd be like, no worries, we already bagged it for you, buddy.
We could then tie in, say, the bit when obviously where they jump in the car to try and chase it, where they try and see where it's going.
Mm.
That would be when Bill and that turn up, and Bill turns up at Starlers to say, "Have you seen Grant? Have you seen Denise?"
That would be the next scene, because it's early evening when it happens, isn't it? It's almost early evening. Is it? Or no, it's still
afternoon. It's middle of the day.
Afternoon.
It's middle of the
Sorry,
afternoon. Yeah.
Misremembering there. Yeah.
But that's fine, because what we could have is we can cut to just of them, Bill and the other guy arriving to go and speak to Star about have you seen Grant? He was seen at Denise's house, and as they get out of the car to go up and go and speak to her, just over the radio, which they don't hear, is what's her name calling in saying there's something weird going on at the shopping mall or something.
Yeah. Shelby.
Shelby, that's it. Yes. So then, of course, we get caw and
caw, tucky. Wonderful scene, love it.
Yes.
They bag themselves a fine flying beastie.
They do.
And then we get the bit with this would be the point when Starla starts to twig some things.
Yeah.
And the confrontation with Grant happens with the squid arm thing and everything. Is that where we are?
Almost.
Feels like that's where we are.
It's almost. So that, because that's originally where we called the end of Act 1 for Slither.
Yes.
I suppose this is where we need to kind of figure out, because we're almost running a sequential, or we're almost running parallel now.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I need to have a think here, because we're almost up to not far from Blue Monkey Attack. I mean, obviously we can delay all of this. It's because it's after the bird attack that they go back up there.
We're being beholden to the original.
We are. It's just because I'm trying to place it in terms of the act structure of where we are, so we know what else we've still got to fit in before we get to the equivalent of that point, if that's what we're going for. But yes, I suppose it would have to be tonight. Would have to be.
It would have to be, because we need that jump of time to happen.
Yes.
So we get to that confrontation.
Okay, so that works. So what we do then is. Or you do, as you said, you get the night with Squid Arm.
Yeah, we get that scene.
Also, against that, then maybe we start to see a few. And I keep thinking of the guys from Halloween 4. We're going to get us a posse going out into the woods hunting all of the aliens from Evolution.
Yes, we should.
So we should just throw that in there as well. So we're getting hunting season after all, boys.
Yeah.
So this is where things are going to get difficult, because if we're going to start getting locals going out shooting things, the military, are they going to try and put a clamp down on that? And is that going to then bring them almost in direct conflict with Grant over the next few days when he's going out hunting things?
It's on the other side of town from them.
Oh, of course it is.
So it's not going to be a high priority. They might be aware of it, but...
They might want to send somebody off to investigate, though, because then maybe they'll think,
Remember, they were poo-pooing all the stories of the animal attacks in Evolution at the beginning. They were like, it can't possibly happen.
We've got this thing contained. Yes, of course.
So what I'm thinking is maybe we do the jump ahead 3 days.
Yes.
And that is like when that stakeout is happening for Grant, and we get the whole thing of the chase through the woods... Mm-hmm. Is also when Ira and Harry break into the facility to try and get another sample.
We've already done that, though.
Well, have we already done that?
Yeah, we've already done that, haven't we? Act 1. So it could just be that they refuse to let them onto the site where the military are, and it takes them 3 days before they can get a face-to-face again with Woodman.
Bingo, yeah, job's a good one.
In the meantime, they're coordinating... It ends up with them with a big map up, and they're coordinating all of the hillbillies to go off and start trying to hunt stuff.
Yeah,
because the military don't want to know.
The military don't want to know. The hillbillies are going off into the woods to hunt stuff.
You could even have at some point during these 3 days. Well, there's this that's happening over here, but this is right on the other side of town. What's going on over there?
Yeah.
So during this 3 days, Ira and Harry become aware that something else is going on the other side of town as well.
Yes, because they probably are investigating any random animal attacks and things like that.
Yeah. So are we going to have... Yeah. That would be quite nice then. So then we can have them go and sort of interview Bill. We'll go and speak to Bill, and he's like, yeah, well, have you seen anything like this? I'm like, a what? Like a squid? What are you talking about?
Yes, that would be nice, because we're getting towards the third act. There needs to be some sort of crossover happening between the different stories, so that's a good way. Like, they're actually sharing information.
Yeah.
At least partially.
But yeah, so they would be able to then be able to get samples from some of the bodies that have been left by Grant.
Yeah.
And they can do, because this is the thing that we don't have in this film that we don't have in Slither, is we have no actual scientists. I know Starla is technically a science teacher,
yeah,
but we don't have any dedicated scientists that can examine this stuff on a cellular level. The Slither aliens.
Yeah, right, yes.
So we can now have Ira and Harry looking at it going, well, this is completely different to what we've got over here.
Yes.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's different number of base pairs or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it reacts in a different way. Again, they would probably try and run comparisons between them. Although we could probably save that for Act 3 when they notice that they are kind of mutually exclusive almost.
Yeah, hang on a minute. We haven't really got Bill in the position of having any samples.
No, but there's carcasses that they go out to find.
Oh, yes, yeah,
so
right.
They can come out and take sample from the carcasses.
Right,
That's what
yeah,
I was thinking.
I understand. Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think my consideration is I kind of want to have the blue monkey attack and the womb hatching being like a simultaneous scene. Because that's when, in both stories, it's when shit goes mental, and it's the bit when this is where we can start really playing with it. At the moment, we've been tied to the plot, and we need to let go of it, and I think the best way to do that is to have chaos unleashed instantly in both places.
I agree, absolutely. So what about... of course. So what about if Bill says, look, again, they've compared notes between Bill and Ira and Harry. Bill says to them, right, well, we're going to go and stake out Carly's family's ranch this evening. Will you come with us? Before they get a chance to leave, the governor turns up, and that's how Harry and Ira get to go back onto the military base, because they go with the governor.
Yes.
And which is why they can't go with Bill, so that's why you have those two scenes running consecutively.
Yeah, exactly.
Or running parallel.
Yeah.
So you get Blue Monkey attack on one side, and then also the womb explodes on the other side.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is the end of our Act 2.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Okay, yeah, we're there.
I think we're
there. All right, okay, that's cool. Yep.
A little bit quicker than anticipated.
A little bit. I'm a little bit disappointed with this, but we really got to make up for it next act.
We do. Is there anything else then that we do? Do you think that we've missed? I'm just having a look.
No, I feel like we've covered everything.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we, give a little bit of difference. So we'd still get the bit with discovering the cellar and all of that would have happened during the act. Again, I think there's some nice stuff in there though, because I think that's a nice thing where you get Bill turning up to speak to Starla about where Grant has gone and having to say that, your husband was seen going into my girlfriend's house.
Oh, yeah, just
so
the little changes.
Yeah, so just to really kind of push the two of them together.
Yeah.
I suppose the one thing that we have really dropped out of this, but I suppose I'm guessing we're assuming that it's just running along the same lines, is the stuff with Alison, because we haven't really talked about her at all.
Well, she's in all of the scenes where they're interacting. So, like the hearing, every time she goes to the military base, they're interacting. I just took it for granted. But, again, we haven't done much to change her arc.
No, we haven't. I suppose this would be the time when that does happen, because she doesn't know about what's going on inside of town.
Exactly.
So this will be when she finds out when we get the blue monkey attack.
Yeah. And although they'll be puzzled, Ira and Harry won't be as concerned about the Slither situation as they are about the things, because they're aware of the spreading nature. They're not aware of the spreading nature of the Slither thing.
No, because it doesn't leave as much of a footprint. No. Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay, yay. We got there in the end. One more act, one more to go.
Thank you again, as always, for joining us. And again, as I think I might have said at the beginning, if you do like what we do here, please do all the usual. Please throw us a like, leave us a comment as well. That'd be nice. If you've got any ideas for stuff that you'd like us to see us do, then please stick them in the comments below. And if you really like us, then maybe hit the subscribe button as well.
That would be awesome.
Until next Friday, as always, have a brilliant weekend, have a brilliant start to next week, and we will see you then.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.